I'm creating as many projects as possible to use up my forgotten Christmas stash. It is day 3 and I've already made a bunch of gift tags and interactive Christmas cards. I know ugly Christmas sweaters are a thing, but are ugly Christmas papers a thing too? Welcome to my 12 Days of Christmas Stash Busting Challenge. Here are the rules. Rule number 1, every project needs to include at least one ugly Christmas pattern paper. Rule number 2, no new items allowed. I can only use what's in my stash. Rule number 3, projects need to be completed in an hour or less and be fun and easy to make, so you too can play along and create them for your friends and family. Today I'll be creating a simple scrapbook layout that comes together super fast with the help of 2 secret ingredients. I'll even share with you ideal substitutes in case you don't have these things. Of course, we also need to find ourselves an ugly Christmas pattern paper, so let's get started on that. Today I'll be creating with Coco Vanilla Studios' Joyful Collection, and the focus will be on these pocket cards. I'll also be working with a cut file from Cut to You, and be sure to link that in the description box below. I have gone ahead off camera and created a frame for the background of my layout, and I've also backed the cut file. It was super hard to find an ugly Christmas paper in this collection, so I've gone with the ones that I thought were the boldest and the hardest to use. I found a bright red pattern paper, and I am going to use that in my title, and I'm going to team it very traditionally with a deep green. The other elements that I really wanted to use were these pocket cards, because I actually find using them on pages a little bit tricky. I have tucked them into my layers in the past, but generally that only uses up 1 or 2. Today's focus is to get quite a few of these onto the layout, so I'm actually going to start the layout design with them. They are going to be the first secret ingredient to pull the page together fast. This layout design is super simple, and I've done that on purpose. I really want you to be able to recreate this page, and I do hope that you are playing along with the 12 Days of Christmas and stash busting your Christmas supplies. I do have a Facebook group where you can share your projects and ask questions. I'll be sure to link that below. Now, I did promise you substitutes, so if you don't have any pocket cards in your stash, you could use just regular pattern paper, or you could use those cut apart sheets. You know, the ones that have a bunch of icons on them. Generally speaking, they do have 2 by 3 inch squares. Sometimes they have tags and bits and pieces on them. Try and find one of those. Find 4 that go together and then center them onto the background of your layout. Your photo, title, and embellishments will all go on top. So the title for this page is my cut file, and it is actually the second key ingredient to creating pages quickly. I'm a huge fan of any kind of pre-made title. If you don't have a cut file, you can use separate alphabet stickers, but what would be even better is to try and find a collection with pre-made titles in it. A large die cut title would work, and I have seen in many of the Pink Fresh Studio collections those puffy words. They would be great as titles. This collection has them too, but I did feel they were a little bit small to add in here as a title. So what I've done is layered it on top of the cut file title. I've done this a few times now, and I really love the look. I especially love it when I can find the same word. So in my cut file, it says Christmas, and then the puffy sticker word is Christmas. See how they're the same? It's done on purpose. I am working with a 4 by 4 inch photo. I feel like that size works really well with this layout design, and I have positioned it on purpose slightly to the right. I didn't want to cover up that very cute candy cane icon. That is actually the print on the pocket card. I'm also going to use the print on the pocket card down the bottom there, the one with the cute little squirrel on it. It's going to be the foundation of an embellishment cluster. So when you're working with the pocket cards in your scrapbook layouts, you have two options. You can pop them into your paper layers and embellishment clusters in a way that covers up the icons on them. Essentially, you'll only see the border, the frame of the card. That's the best way to use them when you don't love what's printed on them. If you were switching them out for ugly pattern papers, that's the best way to use them as well, because you're going to cover up most of what that print is. The other way that you can use them on your scrapbook layouts is as embellishment pieces or as ephemera. And in those cases, you would want to ensure that you can see what's printed on them. That may mean fussy cutting elements out of them, or designing your page in the way that I have here so that you can see those elements. Now, as we've been chatting all about that, I have been building out my embellishment clusters. I am going with a very loose visual triangle, but this layout is a little bit of a rule breaker. It started out very centered. The pocket cards were centered on the background, and that title is very centered as well. The thing is though, when I moved my photo more towards the right, it has changed the balance of the page. So I want to balance things back out. I'm going to do that with my embellishment clusters. I'm going to have a small one to the right of my photo. See the little squirrel up the top there? The candy cane will be the second point in my visual triangle, and then that red stocking, that's actually going to be the third point in the visual triangle, and I have very purposefully positioned that very centered. It's my hope that by centering that one, I'm going to tie everything back in together. I do talk a lot about flow and design on the channel, so if you would like to hear even more about that, be sure to subscribe. I'm now at the point where I want to add in some smaller details and a little bit more texture. I decided on some typed sentiment stickers and the wood buttons that are in this collection. I also did find a really cute little holly leaf that was made of chipboard. I also found some chipboard stars, and they're great because they are textured, but they also have a shiny gold part to them, and that ties in with that puffy sticker that I have in the very center of the page. Up until this point, it was the only gold element on the page, so it was sort of standing out a little too much for my liking. So the gold stars tie everything together. You can see all the details in the close-up images here, the chipboard pieces, the die cuts, and that cut file title. At the end of day 3, I've used up a bunch of my Christmas stash. I've made gift tags, an accordion fold card, and now a scrapbook layout. So what's in store for tomorrow? I think it's time to pull out some Christmas sparkle. Be sure to play along with the playlist right here, and I'll see you all again very soon. Until then, bye.